right.
Welcome to From Poundland to Paradise, your monthly roundup of all things Walsall FC. I'm Craig Resnick-Hansen, he's Joe Cheeseman, and today we're going to be summarising all things August 2023 for the Saddlers. Let's get into it. So Joe, we knew when we spoke last time that August was going to be challenging. We actually thought that we'd have 6 matches in August, but then we made a bit of a miscalculation. We actually had 7. 5 in the League, 1 in the League Cup and 1 in the EFL Trophy. And overall I'd say it's been middle of the road. We knew it was going to be challenging in terms of the teams that we had to face. It's not been disastrous by any means. But how do you feel overall about that first month of the season?
It's a bit hard. It's a bit hard to tell. It was a bit up and down really, but we've definitely played some great football. And I'm looking forward to Farquhar and Knowles coming back, and that obviously affected our back line majorly. But yeah, I think kind of average, I guess. I don't know. We've been scoring way more than we did last season. But when I put it into perspective, when I was looking earlier at August last season, we played 9 games or something. Even more crazy. I didn't realise.
One every 3 days or something.
Yeah, and we started great with the 4-0 at home to Hartlepool, but then it was a bit. I think it was 3 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws, and there was 2 cup games in that as well. And I think there was a loss. Could have been it was a loss to Charlton, and it was a win against Swindon, and obviously that was great. But after they thrashed us 5-0, the end of the season before last. So I don't really. When you compare it to last year, I feel like we're basically on track, because we thought we had a great start last year. So we're basically kind of. What was our tally at the moment? We've got 2 wins.
Yeah, well, we'll go into more detail on in a second. But in the league, we've played 5, won 1, drawn 2, lost 2.
Yeah.
So around 5 points. But I agree with you. I think the biggest success story of it has just been that it's been more enjoyable to watch, at least. Obviously I can't necessarily compare it to last August, because I actually felt like we were looking like we were playing decent football then, but I mean compared to the second half of Flynn's reign, just how boring, how terrible it really got. It was nice to come into a season with we're scoring bags of goals like you said, and even when we're not scoring goals, we're creating chances.
Tons of chances.
Just this weekend again, another game we could have probably won, not that they didn't create plenty of chances of their own, Grimsby. We'll come on to that, but I'm with you. Basically, it's been maybe the results have been middle of the road, but at least the performances have been good, and I think there is reason for optimism. Even as a boo boy, I'm somewhat optimistic.
And I'm always optimistic, but I feel like I don't know.
Well, let's break it down.
There's a lot to be seen anyway, isn't there, with Farquhar and Knowles coming back fully. We've had Knowles back for a game and a half now, because we got him back. He came off the bench and scored against the Brighton kids, didn't he? And then he played the whole 90 minutes against Grimble. He got taken off on 70 or something against Grimsby. So he's back. We're still waiting for Earring to come back. Like you said, Farquhar. Not that for Earring's going to walk into the team or anything, but just great to have all these options. But let's break it down then in terms of the results. So our first game of the season, we lost 2-1 to Morecambe. Late goal conceded, late set piece goal, which is becoming a bit of a trend. I think Hussey said 2 or 3 games ago in an interview on the official YouTube channel that the defence has to tighten up majorly, including himself, which I thought was a nice, honest, frank assessment. Definitely.
Because going forward, like you said, when you compare it to last year, we're scoring goals, we're creating chances, but now we just need to tighten that up at the back.
We've gone to the other side, haven't we, of things. We've gone from not being able to score, or only DJ was scoring, and now kind of everyone's scoring, and we're letting in loads of goals.
And to be fair, it's better if
it's more entertaining, isn't it?
Exactly. If you're gonna draw games or lose them, you'd rather lose 3-2 or in this case 2-1. In that game we did well. We created chances against a team that had just come down from League One. I know that a lot of the experts are expecting them to go on a bit of a slide. so they're not exactly sort of expected to bounce back. But at the same time, I think we played really well. But just conceding that late goal is something that we're becoming accustomed to, and they have to get. And especially this year now with the new FA rules on, 10 minutes added on and everything every game, which personally I like, but we need to be wary of that because we can't keep conceding these late goals and throwing away points.
That's it, isn't it? Yeah, we really can't, and that was kind of a frustration that we've always had, conceding late goals. So we've really got to tighten.
It's a long-running trope. I saw that on the YouTube comments. A lot of people pointing that out. That we're always going through it.
But so we'll be moving on to the next game, I guess.
Yeah. Well, our second game then was sort of predictable that we expected to go out of the League Cup in the first round when we drew Blackburn. I know we were talking about making it to that, but as you know, I've got a new baby girl.
Congratulations!
Had my first child, so I haven't exactly been able to get to all the games, and this was one that in the end there was a bit of a bridge too far. But 4-3
I think
defeat. Great. Obviously, we played a weekend team. I know they did as well, but we played, people like Ronan Mayer, for example, I think scored, who's now gone out on loan to Russia Olympic. We had, a lot of sort of second stringers in the team, and still we put up a great fight against the Championship side. Really entertaining game.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
And we just lost 4-3.
Yeah, I say great, but obviously I don't. A win would be great, but
or a draw.
Yeah, considering the opposition, you know what I mean. It's brilliant, really. Yeah, like you said, there was just too many 1-0s and 0-0s and getting beaten 2-0 last season and not being able to come back from anything. Whereas I'm seeing, and I saw in that game, we were coming back. You know what I mean? We were fighting back properly, and
again against Grimsby at the weekend. That's something that's true now. When we go behind, I don't feel like saying let's just beat the traffic.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the point? We know there's no way we're ever getting any points from this game. If we're behind, it's a guaranteed defeat. Whereas now that's not the case. We come back against Brighton as well. Not that we ended up getting anything from it, but I mean we are capable of scoring goals while losing a game.
Yeah.
Which it's a huge change.
It's a huge change and it's a good change. So
compared to the Flynn.
You can take positives from that, definitely. Yeah.
But then in our third game of the month, we finally got off the mark with a 2-1 win in the league over Stockport. We were there for that game.
Yeah, that was great too.
Another great performance, great win. Stockport are a good team and a fancied team, so I'm really, really pleased with that. That's probably the pick of the bunch, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so too. Yeah. I mean, the attacking substitutions at the end, were very questionable. Obviously, they ended up paying off in that instance, but we'll go on to talk about.
We'll definitely come on to that. I'm sure a lot of you out there are thinking about that as well. We heard another guy on the phone in yesterday on the drive home from the game on WM talking about it as well. The double sub on 60 minutes every game. We'll come on to that. But our fourth game then we lost 4-2 against Wrexham, which. Again, it's not a great result, but again, 2 goals, and I know that we've got to shore things up at the back, but at least it's exciting and entertaining. I mean,
exactly.
We would have expected to probably lose that game against that team, considering they've got, several League One quality players in the team.
Exactly, yeah.
If not half the team.
Yeah.
So the fact that we were in the game and it was fun, I think is better than it could be.
Definitely.
But Wrexham are good. Like Swindon, they're good for a scoreline this year, aren't they?
Oh God, yeah, insane. Yeah. That's
plenty of goals going in at both ends.
And that's another reason that I thought this year in League Two is one of the most exciting years of League Two. If that makes sense.
I mean, so far it looks like it's going to be a goal fest.
Yeah, goal fest.
Tons of good attacking teams who are playing good football.
Yeah.
The days of just hoofball and 0-0 every week are gone, I think, in League Two. And if you play that way, I don't think you can have a lot of success, which is why I'm glad we're playing the way we're playing.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
The next one, I have to say, really stung was the 2-2 draw away at Crewe.
Yeah, that
was really bothered me. To drop 2 points there was very annoying.
Yeah, that was awful, man. I mean, it's just the late conceding again, isn't it? Really, it's just really sticks with you. You know what I mean? You think for the whole game, it's going all right, and we can definitely get something here. And I mean, at least we got a point on the road. But it's not what we deserve, definitely. And
I think, and then we'll come on to Sadler, but he's got to work on tactically allowing that kind of stuff to happen. But at the same time, because again we're conceding late from, technically again from a set play because it's from a throw-in.
Yeah.
So again and again it's on that side. When we lost to Morecambe, it was a free kick from that side, I think. And then a header or bobbled in, from the left side.
Yeah, it was
pretty much identical position.
Well done.
And to be fair, to play devil's advocate, I saw a lot of people pointing this out. I know that we get a lot of bad officials and we're always angry about the referees. I mean, again, yesterday we lost our voice just hating on this abysmal referee. I don't care what anyone says about referees not getting abuse. It's like you need abuse.
Sometimes they need abuse to realise how terrible it is.
It's just, I don't know how else you can respond to that. But in this instance against Crewe, the guy's taking a throw in from the third row. Like, how is that?
Yeah, he's in the.
I don't understand. It's beyond. The ref clearly just can't be watching the game.
No.
Or the linesman who's surely next to him.
Yeah,
absolutely mental that was allowed to happen. But at the same time, you've got to stop the crossing. You've got to deal with it. It's a 94th minute or whatever.
Exactly.
And again, we're
at the end of the day. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's the players' fault, to be honest.
But again, at least we scored 2 goals. I mean, you look at these so far here. In fact, we've scored in all 7 of these games. I mean, think of that alone is mental.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean, we used to, in a run of 7 games under Flynn, you'd score in 2 of the 7, literally, if you were lucky.
And when DJ went, obviously we weren't.
Exactly.
Nothing was happening.
When he weren't able to get the only goals that we got somehow.
Yeah.
Just pulling them out of nowhere. But 1 goal against Morecambe, 3 against Blackburn, 1 against Stockport, 2 against Wrexham, 2 against Crewe, and then we scored another 2 against Brighton's under 21s, and we lost 3-2, which again, decent performance.
I think seeing as we played kids as well, then Premier League kids against League 2 kids, you'd
favour them.
Fair, yeah.
We had a few more established players in our team than they did, but like you said, I mean, the quality's different. But again, 2 goals, created some chances, decent bit of entertainment for the few who would have gone along on the Tuesday night, I think it was, to watch that.
That's it, yeah.
And then yesterday, again, we got on the score sheet against Grimsby, 1-1. I mean, that's the freshest game in our minds, so we can probably do a little bit on that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we were there. Overall, I think a point was a fair result.
Yeah, I'd say so. Obviously, we saw how good we were in that first 25 minutes. That was brilliant. And kind of backed off a little bit. Then we came out and then they scored, but then we came back, and we came back firing really, and I think we definitely had most of the play, and Evans couldn't have stopped that goal from their number 7, was it?
Asa.
Yeah,
Asa. God, they were singing his name for about half an hour. I don't blame them, because absolutely insane strike to score, and then about 5 minutes later he hits the bar with pretty much the same angle.
Yeah, crazy.
So overall, while I felt that we dominated the first half an hour and created 3 or 4 clear-cut chances, it's hard to say when they've hit the bar.
Yeah.
And we had a penalty claim as well early on, but I think overall we'd be wrong to say they didn't create plenty of chances themselves, and like I said, hit the bar. And
yeah, we just nothing seemed to fall for us yesterday, did it really?
Yeah, until it finally did for Sturk. That's what we were waiting for. We were waiting for something to just land. And it finally did, so...
And it did, yeah.
Overall, 5 points from 5 in the league. Lost both the cup games, so... the EFL trophy, hopefully we can get back on the horse on that, because I think we're playing again in October against Forest Green, I think. So hopefully we can get back moving in that, because I do, as we said in the first episode, I do think we should prioritise that.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's been an August.
It's been a wild August again, and we thought this August was wild, and last August was actually insane. Wild. Yeah. So, and I think we lost 1 more than we did. Well, we had more games though. So yeah, but I think I'm not too bothered about the cup, and the fact we were scoring. Makes me optimistic, but also we do want wins. We really need to tighten up at the back, and again, the subs. Can't stop mentioning it, but
we're going to come to it, and we're going to come to September as well, which is going to be a little bit calmer. But first, let's move on to the players. So we had a bunch of takes in the first episode. Obviously, the one that for me that comes to mind the most was that I wasn't really blown away by Ote. I didn't really know what he was going to offer, and I have to say I've been proven wrong, because I think every time he's come off the bench, I think he's been really, really good.
Yeah, I totally agree.
He's scoring, he's creating, he's involved, he looks energetic. Yeah. I think DJ looks like he's coming up to speed, not quite firing on all cylinders, but he's there.
Yeah, he's not
love Freddie Draper, but there's too many to mention. I mean, who's caught your eye the most?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess you literally just touched on up top, so I guess we'll start there. And yeah, I guess Draper has been the most impressive, because obviously he's so young, hadn't seen him before, he's come up from lower leagues, but he's adapted incredibly, and he's just absolutely firing. Like, I can't believe how sick he is, to be fair. He's a unit, but he gets everywhere, and he's just fighting every minute that he's there. And yeah, DJ, like you say, he's coming into it. I think there was a slight injury, it wasn't major, but yeah, so maybe that's a reason for the subbing.
For the sub saga that we're going to come to.
Yeah, but God knows, but yeah. And Ote, surprised me as well. Yeah, every time he's came on. Obviously he scored against Stockport.
Yeah.
Well taken goal.
And he's creating things. He's a sort of, he was heavily involved in the goal yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and he's involved in creating chances all the time. Good to have that depth, because I think in Draper and DJ we've got the strike partnership that should be starting every game.
Yeah,
and of course we need people to be able to affect the game when they come on, and I think Ote can do that.
I think so.
As you said, Draper's just amazing. I mean, he's a unit. He's huge. He's got a bit of the thing that's surprised me the most about him as well is because he's got a bit of puppy fat on him, because he's still really young. I think he's like 19.
Yeah,
his speed on him, and the engine doesn't look like he should be able to.
It's explosive, isn't it? Yeah.
It's crazy, really. He's got the strength to hold up the ball and to hold people off and spin off, but then he can spin off and run. He can run in behind.
The flick-ons.
I mean, when you compare him to Matt, for example, he provides 10 times more in all dimensions than Matt does. He's been a revelation. I don't know if we've got him on a 6-monther or a 1 year.
I can't remember.
I mean, but the problem is, even if it is a 1 year, they can always cancel that, I think, in January. Lincoln. But Lincoln are doing relatively well, I think, in League One. I think they won 3-0 at the weekend, so hopefully they're not really struggling up front, so they don't really need Freddie Draper.
Yeah, let's hope so.
We won't have the kind of situation we had with DJ with Mansfield, where we're competing. There'll never be a competition issue. Lincoln aren't going to care about us having Draper in terms of helping us. It'll only be if they need him, and it looks like they're not going to. So hopefully we can keep him. I know that the defence is obviously it needs to improve, but that doesn't mean that I haven't still been really impressed with Hussey. His leadership looks fantastic. I mean, when you're in the ground and you're sitting close to the pitch on the first few rows, which we were yesterday, definitely. You can hear him, you know what I mean, barking orders, going off on Gordon. I think you can't switch off when he's around, which is fantastic. Daniels is always reliable. I think we just need Farquharson back.
I know, just to fill that solid three that always start at the back,
because then McKinty can get back in midfield where we really want him, I think.
Who did we have? We had Williams start a couple of times, didn't we?
Williams has started a couple of times.
Church.
And again, it's good to have him as an option, but I don't really want him to be our starting centre back. We need Farquharson in, and we probably could do with another body in there as well, just to shore it up with the depth.
I'd say another body, but to be honest, there's no one. I mean, we should. Let's talk about the midfield first. Yeah, I think that's all. All of that has been impressive, actually. Everyone in there, Tierney, Sturck,
the midfield options,
Kenty, Hutch, everyone. Hutch gets a bit of bad press, but I think he's just.
Yeah, I don't really get the hate for him, to be honest. I think he's
not 100% consistent, but I'd say at least 80% of the time he's class.
And you need one, because when you've got Sturck and Tierney, I would say they're both combative, full of energy, engine room type players. They're both a bit like Kinsella, but better, because then they can actually pass. They've got vision. They're sort of like that dogged midfielder, but with quality. And then obviously you don't need three of them, so the other one can be the more flashy one who scores. I mean, who was it that Hutch scored that wonder strike the other week?
Was that a Crew? That was a Crew.
Yes, it was the second goal.
The one that went off both balls.
And he isn't going to do that every game, whatever. But at the same time, he's not making huge mistakes and losing the ball all the time. I don't think he's really. He might be a bit anonymous sometimes, but that's because I mean, he's going to be as well if we're not on the ball during those times. So
it's I
don't think it's a big deal.
Magic.
But the options, because then you got Earring to come back.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, we've got so many. I mean, when McKinty's able to be freed up to play in there, we're talking like we've got 5 or 6 really good centre midfield options.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Like McKenty definitely needs to just be in the middle all the time. Like he has to be there.
If Farquharson came back, I would think about putting McKinty in there with Sturck and put Tierney forward where Hutchinson is.
I would, yeah.
And then Hutchinson doesn't have to play necessarily. Either.
Yeah, for the goals that we touched on, that he got for Motherwell last season.
There you go.
Insane. Yeah, he should definitely be further up the pitch. I think Tierney has impressed at all times.
But we've got to have a bunch of games to come, so you need plenty of options to rotate. And I think wide, now that Knowles is coming back,
exactly, Knowles. Yeah,
we've got Knowles, Riley,
amazing
Gordon
goal against Brighton as well.
Yeah,
incredible goal.
We could maybe do with because I guess Allen could play there, but we could maybe do with one. If I was going to make any more signings, which I think even if we don't, it's fine. But I would probably buy one more centre back and one more wing back. Maybe someone who can reliably cover Gordon.
Yeah, definitely.
I think if Gordon got injured, it would be great.
Yeah, because Gordon, we didn't touch on him then, but Gordon's been incredible.
I think he's doing really well. He had that unfortunate own goal against Brighton, I think it was, I don't remember.
Oh god, yeah.
But obviously, there's nothing you could do about that. He was trying his best to clear it. He's another one who gets a bit of flack sometimes, but I think he's good. He's got energy, he's pacey. He gets forward, he does everything you want him to, and he'll only get better playing next to Hussey there.
Definitely.
On the left.
Yeah, so he's been great, I think.
But I think all over the pitch, in terms of the playing staff, I think we've made some great additions. They're all bedding in. I was looking on the Wikipedia page earlier and I was like, it just looks nice, you know what I mean? It looks like, instead of before, it'd be like 11 and then it's just a load of dead wood that you'd just be like, God, do we want any of these even? I feel like now it's like all the players, even the ones who don't play, apart from some... we may or may not mention a couple. Pretty much everyone in the squad, you'd be like, I'd be happy for him to play or come in. It wouldn't
that's what I mean. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's no one that I'd say, they've been awful. Although, no offense to Matt, but he hasn't been. Well, obviously, when he came in last year, big expectations, big boots to fill with DJ. And he didn't live up to it.
And his prior actually feel like FGR as well.
Yeah. But as soon as Sadler came in back into last season, I think Matt improved a lot, and he's still improving. But he can't do 30 minutes. He can't do half an hour.
I just think I don't know if the problem is I don't know if he's going to be able to get enough consistent games for him to get up to that level that he was when he was top scorer at Forest Green, because unless we get a big injury, because I just can't see Sadler letting him play. He'll have to play all the time over Draper and DJ, which I just think would be mad. So I think in fairness to him, he's probably not going to get back to that level because he's not really going to get the chance to, and I wouldn't give him the chance to either personally. So he looked okay for the 5 minutes he was on yesterday at the end.
He
actually did
got up.
Okay.
He got up. There was a flick on for Ota, which was nice. He won the ball a couple of times.
He didn't lose the ball, but I mean, obviously it's 5 minutes, it doesn't really tell the whole story. I mean, all the other times it's been coming on with half an hour left, it's been poor, but in general, I love the overall squad, which brings us to Matt Sadler. So I'm not Sadler out yet. But I think we're on the right track now. I'm only joking. I'm only joking. I think hopefully we're gonna be okay. I like what he's trying to do. I like the formation. I like the setup. Again, way more on the front foot. I'd rather lose 3-2 than 1-0. We do need to shore things up at the back, and he does need to work on that balance on the training ground so that we can not sacrifice too much at the back to enable us to go forward so much. But at the same time, you'd rather what we've got going on now than 1-0 loss, 1-1, 0-0, just every week.
Hoofing up and just trying to play defensively and then just end up conceding in the dying moments. I mean, we're conceding in the dying moments, but not all the time. Whereas I feel like before,
and for different reasons.
And
more because we're open. So, but I think that Sadler, there's two things with Sadler. One is that I think now I don't think we can complain necessarily about the squad and the way it's built. I think with them players, that is good enough to challenge for the playoffs. So there is nowhere to hide, really. I don't think you can say, what could I do? Like Flynn could after DJ left, for example. I think this team is good enough. If you don't do it, it's on you. And the second one is the only thing that I haven't liked, as we've touched on multiple times, is this 60 minutes take off DJ and Draper for Matt and Ote. He changed it up a bit yesterday, and he only brought on Ote at 60, and then he took off. He brought on Matt more like 85.
Yeah, so I appreciate that a lot more, but at the same time...
But stop doing that. Yeah. It's weird, especially if we're not winning the game. Mental.
Cost us 2 points at Crewe, 100%. 100%. Because as soon as they came on, there was just nothing going forward. I mean, well, we were, something was going wrong that day.
When you bring on Matt on 60... it means every time we try and get an out ball, because there's no mobility at all. It's not like Draper where you can knock it in a channel and he'll run, or the same for DJ. Ote does his best in that regard, but you've halved your opportunity to hold the ball up, because Matt cannot hold the ball up. So if you knock it up to him, you lose the ball guaranteed, and then they come back every time. And even in terms of defending from the front as well, it's so easy for them to just walk through the first line of defence, because in modern football, the defence starts at the front. That's why having Draper on the pitch makes a huge difference. Now, maybe he's struggling for fitness, but whatever that is, get to work then on the training ground. He needs to play 90 minutes. I get it if we're playing, maybe this month I can sort of allow it Saturday, Tuesday. But in September, we've only got the 5 Saturday games. That's it. There's no midweek games. No excuse. Draper should play 90 minutes every game. And really, DJ should play 90 minutes every game.
He should, and there must be the whole... swapping at 60 minutes both strikers must be a fitness issue. I mean, what other reason would it be?
Especially when you've seen
the effects. We've seen the effect of it. It's not been good.
He obviously knows, because that's why he tried to tone it down a bit on the weekend.
And Stockport was good, so nobody kind of noticed, but even we were saying, what is he doing? And luckily we got that goal, but and then we were playing. If there was 5 more minutes, Stockport would have equalised, wouldn't they, really?
Yeah, I just think...
So it did take out.
To be honest, again, I don't want to hate on Matt too much. We want to try and keep things civil.
Yeah, I don't want to hate on him.
But at the same time, the major problem with it as well is it's not like he's taking off a striker for a defender. That would enrage people. Because then you are just inviting pressure and giving away...
If we were winning 2-0 and he did that, then I'd... obviously it's not great,
but I still think it's you're asking for it type of thing. But he didn't do that against Crewe. On paper, he took off 2 strikers for 2 strikers, so no problem. But the problem is, if he was to bring on Ote and DJT, for example, DJT's got energy and legs, and he'll run for half an hour, and he'll be that out ball into the channels, or he'll chase people down. So you're still playing on the front foot type of thing, so it's fine. We said this before, we were talking the other day, if you're winning 2-0, you don't need to score goals anyway. So the argument for Matt would be that he's a goal scorer. I don't care about that. In fact, bring on like Ross Tierney and put him up front. I don't care. We're not trying to score goals. So DJT can't score goals. No problem. Doesn't need to. Just needs to provide us with the ability to get up the pitch,
to get there,
and to press. And when you bring on Matt, you basically go down to 10 men. I don't know what to tell you. And it's crazy because he was amazing 2 years ago.
Incredible.
And maybe he could get back there.
I really hope so.
But right now he's a different player. And honestly, there are times where you're like, this is no different to being down to 10 men.
It's hard to say, but it's not good. Subs haven't been good.
So that's my only beef with Sadler, really.
Yesterday, like you say, he switched up. Thank God. But I think other than that, he's done great, to be fair. A really tough August.
Absolutely.
Players out, so I'm happy with him.
I like him in his press conferences too. I think he's got something about him. So overall, I'm happy with him. He did say, I think maybe in the Express and Star the other day, that he's targeting another centre back before the end of the window, or before next Friday.
Nice.
I don't know if the window closes on Friday or Saturday, but either way, he's trying to get someone in. That would be one of the only 2 positions I'd look to cover, like we said before, centre back or wing back. Is there anywhere else where you think we're lacking, where you think we could do with?
No, because obviously we've touched on DJT, and I feel like it's literally just...
It might not be Harry Kane, but...
But he's growing into it. I think he got goals in pre-season. But, like you say, he's athletic, he'll get there. He'll put a lot into the game, so I don't think we really need to be worried up front in the midfield. I tend to agree with you, to be honest. I definitely a centre back for cover. or to go in now.
Because if you're playing 3 at the back, you want to have 6, really, don't you? Yeah. And I like the fact that we've got, I think in modern football as well, it's important to have these flexible players that, like Knowles, for example, could play like wing back, or he can play like high up on the wing, or even up front. Mm-hmm. And in McKinty, we've got someone who can play like right side of the back 3, or he can play in the midfield. Mm-hmm. So you could count McKinty as one of the possible centre backs. So we've got Daniels, Farquharson, Hussey, McKinty, and then that's when you're getting into like Menayese and then actual youth players. So I think we could, and Williams.
Yeah.
So I think one more.
I think just one more, would be.
We've got a nice bit of depth, because if you're playing 3 at the back, it's one thing if you're playing 2, but if you're playing 3, you know, you need that extra cover, because you just need more players in that position, obviously. So as we sort of draw towards coming on to September, to wrap up August, I thought we could do a little best and worst of the month.
Okay.
So, what for you has been the best thing about August? Could be a player, could be some kind of tactical thing we're doing, a result, a goal, anything.
Oh, I don't know. Just the general attacking momentum, really. That's just been really great to see, to be honest. Obviously, I was there for the 4-0 against Hartlepool last season. It kind of stays in my memory, that's kind of where we should be. But that's not realistic, obviously. But now, and then obviously the run of awful no goals and just boring draws and stuff like that. Now it's okay, at least we lose and we draw, but at least there's goals in it, you know what I mean? And I think the attacking sense has gone up.
Yeah, I think this first month has helped to wash away the bad taste of the Flynn out era.
Yeah, but it has brought in the fact that we need more people. We need Farquharson back in, or more cover, basically.
Exactly.
But I'd say the best. Yeah.
It's been a lot more enjoyable.
Even
when we haven't scored goals, it's nice to feel like you can.
Yeah, precisely.
And I guess my best would be building on what you said. Going forward's obviously been the highlight, and for me, Freddie Draper has been unbelievable. I remember in the first episode when we were talking about what we'd seen in the highlights, I knew he'd done well on loan at Drogheda. I knew he had kind of League One pedigree at Lincoln. They obviously rate him. Yeah. And then we saw here on the highlights from pre-season that game where he scored that goal, and then the other one where he held up the ball, spun it round for someone else, and I thought, wow, this kid looks huge, but he's got technique, he's got speed, he looks amazing. Yeah, but I still thought, you know how it is, you're like, oh, it's going to be, it looks amazing on paper, but then when it comes to it, it'll be nothing. But no, I mean, God, he's walked straight into the team. I didn't see that coming, really. I actually thought DJT would probably start, or Matt even. I actually thought Matt and DJ would be the established,
the kind of more experience, the more they've been at the club.
So we've got to give Sadler credit for that, because I think this August looks complete. Imagine if he'd started every game with Matt instead of Draper. I think we would have lost most of those games.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Draper looks the real deal, and if we can keep him all season, I think we're looking at a fantastic season. Draper, what about your worst? What's been the worst thing about the month?
It's probably those 60-minute attacking subs, to be fair. I'm just lost. I think everyone's just why the hell are you doing that? But I'm trying to rationalise it as an optimistic fan, trying to rationalise everything into we're not just shit, or Sadler's not just shit, there's a reason behind it type thing. It must be fitness and keeping him fresh. But
you had another theory as well, didn't you, that a few people have mentioned with Matt, that it could be some kind of salary issue.
Oh, yeah.
Where he's playing him because to justify the fact that he brought him in, which kind of makes me feel why
he pays his wage, so let's make the most of the wage.
Or that could be some kind of clause in his contract as well. You never know that he has to start. He has to appear. True. I don't know how these things necessarily work, but
I never even thought about some kind of contractual amount of games he plays a season. That's very interesting. I never even thought about that. But I think the wages would tie in with the board being look, we're spending this much, you better play him. You know what I mean? Get playing him, sadly. You know what I mean? And then he might not even really be fully confident with it, which maybe is why he changed.
That's another thing too. It's so complicated these days with the way it all works that we don't necessarily know if Sadler pushed to have him. Mm-hmm. So you said, it could be that the board like him.
Yeah.
And they force him to play him as well.
Yeah. But I think
it's not good.
That's got to be the worst, really. I mean, it's only because I don't know. It's only because it did change the game detrimentally. If they just came on and we didn't score, then but it seems like when they came on, we're being flooded, and like you say, the defence is not starting at the top of the field anymore. It's going through the midfield, and then we haven't got Farquharson, so then it's soaking up pressure. They're attacking that side where Williams is. I think that's why he brought in McKenzie, because they know he's young and he's kind of covering. So it leaves us really exposed. But I
think that's the only thing about Sadler that I think is a bit tactically naive, because I think I've really enjoyed what he's trying to do tactically, but I think, and I can't claim to know more than him about football, obviously, but it does appear that like a sort of basic idea that, okay, we're 2-0 up, if we sort of sit back and keep it tight, and then we'll just have an out ball. So Matt's big and he's tall and he's strong, so if we hoof it up to him, he can hold the ball up, and then we can get out, and then we can push up the pitch. And it's like, it seems nice on paper, but like, how are you not seeing that like he doesn't hold the ball up? It'd be one thing if he was Akinfenwa but actually held the ball up, but it's like the ball just goes to him, bounces off him, and they come back every time, or he's there trying to like bring it down on his chin and just like doing that thing where he like backpedals against two players. There's no flick-ons. I mean, you see with Draper the awareness that like he actually thinks, okay, you're hoofing up to me, I can flick this on for DJ, or I can do something, or he'll bring it down to his feet and he'll be holding off like three players and then spinning and running in behind, or playing. It's just it's like you're going from a 10 to a 5. So I don't know, I mean, if he wants to do that thing, then he needs a different body to do it, I think. That's what I would give DJ a try with that. Just
definitely.
Knock it in the channel. If you want to sit back, which again I wouldn't recommend anyway.
No,
if you're 2-0 up,
we don't
keep playing the same way. It's worked so far. We're 2-0 up. Could be 3 or 4 if you carry on. Just don't get scared and then hide for half an hour and then draw 2-2. But if you're gonna hide, then at least do it in a way that works. You've seen it doesn't work them that way. He isn't capable of doing that. So try someone else, DJT maybe, or
definitely DJT.
I mean, have we got any other like
I can't remember
fringe strikers?
Has DJT even played in this?
I think he played the cup games.
Okay, no, you're right, he did.
Pretty sure he played against Brighton. He looked okay.
Right.
If I remember correctly. So
he's put in loads of great performances over the last couple of seasons.
But to clarify, my worst is exactly the same as yours. It's this double sub on the 60th minute thing. I mean, maybe take one of them off. Whatever we need to do with a fitness team, you can't have both of them needing to come off on 60 minutes every game. It's not good.
Yeah, we were both saying before yesterday's game, if we see that again, then it's going to be big questions. But he switched it. Yeah, he halved it. So
it's not too bad.
And Ote did play well. I mean, there was a frustrating bit where
we were losing, to be fair. So I mean, you know, we got back into it, we drew. So it's a bit less annoying than when you're winning and then you do that and then
of course, well, that is the thing. Yeah, we came back and we got a point out of it, but. Yeah, when you're at Crewe and you're 2-0 up, and then that's unacceptable.
I remember saying to you, like, anything but a win here is literally unacceptable.
We said that, we were texting.
It's not acceptable.
And then we were just like,
because if you're going to be a team that flirts with the playoffs, teams that flirt with the playoffs win more. For a start, they win 2 games in a row, which we haven't done since like 2012. Like, when have we ever won?
I hope there's been
2 games in a row consecutively.
I can't think of.
It's insanity. Good lord. I mean, I'm sure at the start of that season we did it like once maybe, but it's.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe
when DJ was flying.
Maybe last August we actually put.
Yeah, but even they wouldn't surprise me.
Still got loads.
I swear we still probably had a win and then a draw and then a win and then a loss. Win 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Or 3 if you want to actually get a run going. And I think the drawing against Crewe, it's just not necessary, you know what I mean? We didn't need to do that. And we didn't really need to draw at the weekend. But anyway, we're somewhat optimistic. Which brings us to September. So September's a bit more normal than August. We've just got the 5 games in the league. So Saturday, no nonsense in between, no excuses for fitness.
Full training, full training week,
So I want to see, you know, the full starting lineup with Knowles starting, Draper and DJ starting and playing the whole game and all that stuff.
To be honest, sorry to go but yesterday's starting lineup was incredible, I thought.
Oh yeah.
Tierney and it was great. That's
to have both Tierney and Sturck in the team.
As soon as Farquharson comes back in, obviously it's going to make it hard if I was choosing the lineup for where McKenzie would fit in between. But it's good to have that problem, isn't it? Really,
That's what
in
I'm
the
saying.
middle we do have that problem, and I think that's
because we're gonna have injuries. We're gonna have periods of time where we're not having like this month where it's just just the games in the league.
Yeah.
Like Christmas time, it's gonna be mental, you know. And who knows if we end up staying in that EFL trophy thing, it can get chaotic. So you know, we want to have them problems, like you said. So it's good good to have them. When we have the earring back, for example, that's going to be just the more the merrier, really. I'd rather have loads of options, but just because we have them doesn't mean we have to play them when it's not working.
And that's the confusion.
Because some areas it can work, I think. In defence, for example, we're conceding goals, so why not mess around and try different things? But
I think that does need to change.
It's going well in the attack, so don't ruin it at 60 minutes, basically. Just keep it the same.
DJ and Draper, midfield's alright. Let's just get Farquharson back or sign someone to cover. And
But one thing that's annoying about September is, again, we've got 2 home games and 3 away, which is the same as we had in August. So at some point we're going to get on a run of having plenty of home games in a row, I guess, because I don't get why after our first 10 games in the league we will have played only 4 at home and 6 away. So that's a bit
crazy.
But, you know, like I said, it's good that we're only playing those league games. We've got next Saturday, the first one is Colchester at home, which on paper looked like a class fixture until this past weekend when they demolished top of the league Gillingham 3-0 away. But I think maybe a lot of us probably saw that thing on social media of loads of their players in a car speeding down the street and then crashing into a wall.
Yeah.
Probably
3 players
been on the juice that night or something, or maybe they've been having some nose beers, as the kids say. But whatever they had to do to create the situation.
That definitely played into it.
That's probably why they got abused by Colchester. So hopefully that don't mean too much for when we play Colchester.
That was their whole back line in that Beamer.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it's just that. Colchester are still pretty shit, but they beat a defenderless team, hopefully.
When's that fixture against Gillingham again? Can that be September?
Sadly, it's not in September.
Oh, God.
But we do have... The other 4 games are all relatively tough on paper because we've got Salford, Swindon, Wimbledon and Bradford. Wimbledon have been having a torrid time in League 2 for several years, but this year they're looking good.
They're looking really good.
They're looking really good at the start of the season. They've been pipped by a few experts before the season as well that they could be pretty juicy. Salford are always there or thereabouts. Bradford are always there or thereabouts. And all these teams are currently above us in the table.
Swindon's smashing it.
They're all going to be at least.
Sadly.
And Swindon, I mean... Let's talk about the Swindon problem, innit? How Michael Flynn goes from, you know, like Tony Pulis on
just always hanging back and just
1 goal in 8 games to 5 not even Guardiola. I guess Guardiola wouldn't create this many goals.
It's crazy. Scoring above. I swear it's been above 2 every game. I don't know because
it's an average of 3 a game. They've scored 15 in 5.
15 in 5.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, they scored 5 in their last 2. So before that, they only scored 5 in 3, but still, it's good.
Yeah,
even that is good. You know, like
Swindon have been consistently pretty good League 2. Playoff.
They're always in and around the playoffs. They will be again, I'm sure.
He might have came in with a gift, but
they've got some good players in the team. You know what I mean? They've got Josh McEachran, for example. Big Kinsella. Actually, they've got Charlie Austin in front. Kinsella's there, sort of a bit more on the fringes, but a good option to bring off the bench. Tyrese Shade is playing there now.
Oh yeah.
So he's getting all the Walsall gang back together so they can go up without us.
Oh God! Imagine, Jesus Christ. No,
I remember thinking that was it what's his name? Osadidi, is that how you say it? Paddy Osadidi.
Yeah.
He nearly went up with Bradford, didn't he, last year? And I was thinking, God, if he goes up, I'm fuming.
Because he was great sometimes, and then he was awful other times, and then he had.
But then these players do that, and they go up for someone else every time. But
that's it.
But luckily they didn't go up, and hopefully they won't go up this time. But that's going to be tough. So basically, we've got another tough month, you would say. We're not playing any, just rank teams. You know what I mean? All 5 of them are looking. I mean, Colchester aside, the Colchester are not. I mean, they were tipped to do pretty well at the start of the season themselves, but they're having a rough start. Maybe they've turned a corner now with that win. Or maybe it's an anomaly because of the Gran Turismo activity.
Let's just pray that's the reason for that scoreline is.
But how optimistic are you for September? Do you think we can get some momentum going, get a couple of wins in a row?
Yeah, we want.
Unless you want the Sadler out to start coming, because they will.
I've heard the voices.
Don't worry, Boo Boys. I'm the voice of the voiceless for you guys out there. You know what I mean? It's all we have to hear is, it was pretty good. It's not acceptable, you know what I mean? Get up that table.
No, it is.
Get them wins, Sadler.
We do need those wins. We need to stay. No, we definitely need the wins. We need the wins, but it's going to be tough again. But obviously, I mean, I'm just always harping on about injuries, and this is going to happen when the injury comes back, and it's not really good enough, is it? But yeah, but I'm sure Farquharson will come, because he said he was only a couple of weeks off of when Knowles was coming back, so that means
there you go.
Hopefully mid-September we get a solid back three.
That should make a big difference.
Really tight for us, and that will definitely make a big difference because we can score. So I think.
Any final thoughts, Joe, for the happy Clapper community? Any final words of optimism?
And I'm sure we can get. I'm sure we'd definitely get 2 wins. I'm saying 2 wins, 2 or 3 wins, 1 draw, and 1 or 2 losses.
I'm going to cautiously say 3 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I like that.
I think we'll lose to Swindon. And I think Flynn will do a big dance.
I'll run over to our stand.
I told you I was the best.
You want me now? Oh, you like me now?
Oh, Flynn, man. God, this guy.
Yeah,
still wanting me.
Yeah, no. It was still the right thing to do to get rid of him, definitely. But
I think it's just an anomaly.
I hate Swindon after that 5-0 end of the season.
I mean, that's the thing. I think maybe they already had the players to score goals, and they can't be much about him. Yeah, because he would have shown over that time if he was capable of setting up a team to score 5 goals every game when he was with us. But
of course, yeah.
I think it's just that he's got the players, and
that's the thing. I mean,
when you got Charlie Austin as well, I mean, it's mad that he's playing in League 2 if he's up front for you.
And we just haven't been gifted. If anything, we've been plagued by injuries, and then we lost DJ last season. So it's I think we've had a bit of a shit hand, like with injuries and stuff like that.
Well, that's one thing we can definitely be happy about, is we know DJ can't leave us this time.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's something.
Yeah, so I'm pretty optimistic for September. If Farquharson comes back in, then I'm very optimistic, let's say.
Me too.
And if we get a covering centre back, then
me too. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for September up the Saddlers. Well, before we go, we want to say if you enjoyed this content, give it a like, subscribe, drop a comment, share it with your mates, all that good stuff. If you really like it, you can follow us on Twitter. That's at Walsall FC Pod. You can search us on TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe to us there.
Instagram, Facebook. They're Facebook. All from Poundland to Paradise. Those are all the handles for those. So.
Yeah, so just if you search it, even on Google, you'll probably get all those possibilities. We also want to direct you to some of the other great Walsall related content in the space, so be sure to subscribe to Super Sadler Seb, Walsall Fan TV, and all the other great creators out there. Make sure you sub into those, make sure you're following along, because Lord knows we can't rely on the normal mainstream channels for any knowledge about our team, you know what I mean, because it's hardly covered. Well, to be fair, one thing that I listened to that I was telling you about the other day is there's this podcast called Not the Top 20 Podcast. It's a really big podcast, so you probably already know about it, but if you don't, you can get it on Spotify and I guess on iTunes and everywhere else. Definitely check that out, because it covers all of the EFL Championship, League 1, League 2 in great detail. So again, if you want to look for anything other than the usual Premier League, Man United, Liverpool, all that, if you want anything different, that's a great place to go. And we also want to give a quick shout out to T7_Talk2, Joe Wilco, Ben Harrison, Mark Castle, and all the other guys who left us kind words on the socials. Really appreciate it. We haven't had too much hate yet, which is quite nice. But of course, if you want to drop some hate as well, that's cool. Like we're excited to hear that too. But that's going to be all for today. We'll see you at the end of September, and until then, up the Saddlers.
Up the Saddlers.